Elliott!
Okay. Thank you, sir. Wow, thank you. Thank you, Luke Scott. Thank you guys for showing up. How are you guys doing? So glad you're here. Okay, so I need you guys to yell out a topic. Yeah, yell out some topics, guys. Dryerland. Okay.
Fight night.
What was it? Fight night? Okay, yeah.
Vaginal yeast.
Vaginal yeast, that's a good one. Those are all very good topics, but I came here to talk to you about other things. Yeah, I'm Joel Elliott. Elliott's got 2 L's and 2 T's. Look me up on the Facebook or the Twitter, that'd be great. Happy Halloween, guys. Are you guys ready for Halloween? You guys got your costumes, all of that? Yeah? Very awesome. Yes, tomorrow marks the day. It's the beginning of the season where we start to warp our children's minds. Like, it starts with soliciting them to come up to strangers' houses and ask them for candy. And it ends with telling them, like, convincing them thoroughly that a stranger has broken into our house and left the presents that they, like the exact presents they wanted. It's like the whole stranger danger thing just goes away for like the entire winter season. We think that strangers are coming, we convince our children that it's okay to ask strangers for candy. I mean, that's a thing, isn't it? Like, don't take candy from strangers, but one day a year we're like, yeah, go knock on his door, he's gonna give you some candy, it'll be fine. But why do we tell them that? We tell them don't take candy from strangers or don't talk to strangers because, like, we're afraid that strangers are going to diddle our kids. You know, that's the thing, right? But it's kind of a narcissistic thing. It flies in the face of the statistics. Like, the majority of strangers out there don't want to diddle your kids. You know, like, and okay, some of the strangers, yes, want to diddle your kids, but they're never going to do it. And then even smaller is this slice of the pie of the strangers who are actually, like, intentionally planning on diddling your kids, you know? So the statistics show that, you know, your children get molested by people they know. You know, we should be telling them, don't talk to your pastor without another adult present. That's, you know, not don't talk to strangers, that's not very helpful. We should be telling them, instead of telling them, you know, like if a stranger talks to you funny, you know, go find Uncle Dan and ask him for help. No, we should be saying, you know, if Uncle Dan gets that weird look in his eye when he's had too much natural light, go find a stranger and ask him for help. Because it's just the numbers. So you know how Uncle Dan gets at those picnics. You know. But the stranger danger thing, there are benefits to it. Like, you know, that as a stranger, that gives me some power. If I see a kid that's like at Walmart out of control, the parents not doing nothing, you know, you can't just come up and go like thwack like you want to. And shut them up, like, and you can't just step in and parent them, you know, because parents get, like, you know, upset at that. So what I do when I see that out of control kid, I just go, hey, and then do that ominous head shake, and it shuts them up for like about 30 seconds. I learned that move because when I was a teenager, I worked for about like 6 years at a swim club. I was a lifeguard for about 6 years. That, by the way, the Baywatch, you guys remember Baywatch is not that glamorous, being a lifeguard. Like, the whole, imagine like, how it would be if you were babysitting 57 kids all at once, and then throw like 10,000 gallons of water on top of that. It's horrifying. And kids lose all inhibition. They put on a bathing suit and jump into a pool, and it's like Lord of the Flies all of a sudden. Like, all the social rules stop. You have to clean up so much poop. When you're a lifeguard, you have no idea how much poop is involved in working at a private swim club. Like, they get it on the deck, they get it in the pool, they get it. The stalls in the bathroom of a swim club, it's Lord of the Flies. They've got, like, you know, ancient symbols smeared. It's awful. There's a lot of feces involved in lifeguarding, but so you go into it thinking like I'm gonna keep these kids safe, and this is gonna be awesome, and then you start just to loathe the children because they smeared poop everywhere, and it's your job to clean it up, and so you start messing with them. The head shake thing, I figured out the secret. Controlling a crowd. You find a couple of the comedians in the group, you know, like you find the class clowns of the kids, because they tend to lead the group into the hijinks and the shenanigans. And you yell at them, yes, when they're doing something wrong, but then every once in a while, just out of nowhere, they're not doing anything, you just blow the whistle, lock eyes with them. And just give them one of those. Give them one of those. It just messes up their world for a second and keeps them off balance. It's a terrific thing. That's where I learned the head shake. But I've always been like, fairly good with children. Like I had a relationship before the relationship that I was in. You talked about 5 years being the mark.
Yeah.
Where like in marriage, like all of a sudden you felt differently about it. I got married 5 years ago. My wedding anniversary was like a couple of days ago.
Oh shit.
I got married 5 years ago. And 6 months ago, my wife was threatening me with murder. And 3 months ago, she made me homeless. So yes, you're right. 5 years, you're going to feel differently. I hope it doesn't go the same way. That's kind of the mark. But yeah, before that relationship, I was with a girl that had like a kid from a prior relationship. She was like 2 years old when I got into it. And I was like this kid's parent for like 3 years. And then the relationship after that, as I might have mentioned, was controlling. So I didn't keep in contact with the kid, like I was like her only dad and whatnot, and like it was a thing. It was a thing. I got very, bonded. So a little bit ago, just like a few weeks ago, her mom got in contact with me and was like, yeah, she talks about you sometimes. This kid, this was a decade ago. This kid is like 12 or 13 now, and she was like, she talks about you sometimes. You should email her. Here's her email address. And so I sent a message to her like, sorry I wasn't there and all of that stuff. And the message I got back, it was like, I wish I could read it to you. I tried to look it up. The grammar was really bad, and it was just that, it was nice to hear from her, but I'm afraid she's stupid. My daughter is stupid. I should have been there, that killed me. But I wasn't. I moved on to this relationship, and it was a very controlling relationship. It was an abusive relationship. And I'm not saying that she was the abusive one. They don't share the blame in those situations. It was a sick, codependent thing. But like in those kind of relationships, there's usually a dominant one and a submissive one. And given what you know, that all my material possessions are still in her possession, and I was homeless and still technically am homeless. I'll give you one guess as to who was the dominant one in my relationship. Okay, I'm sorry. I'll give you 2 guesses as to which was the dominant one. Okay, you can guess as many times as you want. Just please don't be angry with me. It didn't go well. But I've really connected with the comedy scene. I've been hanging out with. My wife was a dominant redhead, and I found the most dominant redhead in the comedy scene. I was like, yeah, we should hang out. And so I've been hanging out with her for a while, and she knows the whole situation. She knows, like, we've talked about how things went, and there was a moment recently where, like, she felt so bad because she thought I was having like a PTSD flashback because she has an alarm on her phone to remind her when she needs to take out the trash. Okay, and I'm hanging out there, and she reads it to herself. I knew she was doing it. She was like, "Take out the trash." I immediately grabbed for the trash bag. Like, immediately. And I knew you were talking about the alarm, but, for the next 3 minutes, she spent apologizing. She thought that I was like, look, please don't hit me. I'm going to take it out right now. So, okay, do you guys want to hear the story about how my wife knocked out my teeth in the first week that I moved in? Okay, well, you should come here next week. Okay, Huntsville, just because I can't leave you doesn't mean I don't love you. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Awesome set.